There's a little girl living inside every woman. You might not see her, you might not hear her, but she's there. She's the part of you that still remembers the first time you felt unwanted. The first time you were told to be quiet, to not take up too much space, to be good, so you'd be loved. And if she is still carrying those wounds, you will feel it every day of your life, even as an adult. You'll feel it in the way you tolerate relationships that drain you, in the way you give more than you get, hoping it will make someone stay, in the way you doubt your beauty, your worth, your right to be seen, no matter how much you've achieved. This isn't because you're broken. It's because the little girl inside you still believes she has to earn love. Carl Jung once said that the parts of ourselves we hide don't disappear. They control us from the shadows. Your inner girl has been shaping the way you love, the way you speak, the way you live, and until you heal her, your feminine essence, your softness, your magnetism, your power, will always feel just out of reach. But here's the truth. When you give her the safety she's been waiting for, when you hold her, protect her, and finally say, you don't have to prove yourself anymore, everything changes. Your energy changes. Love starts to feel different. You start to feel different. And suddenly, the woman you were always meant to be begins to shine, without you forcing a single thing. In the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey that will change the way you see yourself forever. Because when you heal your inner girl, you don't just reclaim your feminine essence, you reclaim your life. Healing your inner girl is not about going back in time and fixing the past. It's about returning to the parts of you that were silenced, overlooked, or made to believe that softness was weakness. Carl Jung often spoke of the inner child as a living part of the psyche, carrying both our deepest wounds and our purest life force. For a woman, this inner child, your inner girl, is the foundation of your feminine essence. She is where your natural joy, creativity, trust, and emotional radiance lie. But if she's carrying shame, abandonment, or the weight of unmet needs, those qualities stay locked away, hidden behind layers of self-protection. Most women don't even realize they are operating from a wounded inner girl. You see it in the way you over-explain yourself, the way you give more than you receive, the way you tolerate half love, because somewhere deep down you still fear not being chosen. These are not personality traits. They are protective patterns. They were born when you were small, when the world felt too big and too unsafe. And now, as an adult, they show up in your relationships, your self-image, and even your body language. Healing her begins with listening. Not the kind of listening where you analyze yourself, but the kind where you let her speak in feelings, images, and sensations. She may tell you about the time she felt invisible in a room full of people. She may show you the moment she decided it was safer not to need anyone. And she may reveal that the very love you've been chasing in others is the love she's been waiting to receive from you. When you start holding her with compassion, something extraordinary happens. You stop outsourcing your worth. Your energy shifts. You no longer try to prove your value through perfection or performance. The feminine essence, the natural magnetism that draws love, respect, and admiration without force, emerges not because you learned some new feminine tricks, but because you've removed the blockages at the root. Carl Jung taught that the unconscious drives much of our behavior, but when you bring light to these hidden parts, you integrate them. The wounded inner girl no longer runs your life, the healed inner woman does. And she is both soft and strong, receptive yet deeply rooted. She knows her worth, and from that place, she moves differently, speaks differently, and attracts differently. The work is not easy. It will ask you to feel things you once buried. But every tear you allow yourself to cry, every boundary you set, and every moment you choose self-respect over old patterns is a step closer to embodying the fullness of your feminine essence. And when that essence is alive, you stop chasing love because you have become it. When you begin this journey of healing your inner girl, you will notice that life starts reflecting back to you the changes happening inside. The people you attract, the conversations you engage in, and even the opportunities that come your way will shift, because the energy you're carrying will no longer be shaped by wounds, fear, or the desperate search for validation. Instead, it will be shaped by self-trust, emotional safety, and quiet confidence. Many women try to step into their feminine essence without realizing that if their inner girl is still wounded, everything they do will feel forced. You can wear the flowing dress, speak in a softer tone, and practice all the feminine energy techniques you've read about. But if deep inside there's a little girl who still feels unsafe, unseen, or unloved, then those practices will be like painting over a cracked wall without repairing its foundation. Sooner or later, the cracks will show again. The feminine essence is not a mask you put on. It's a natural state you return to when your inner world feels safe. A little girl who feels safe doesn't need to control everything. She plays, she laughs, she creates, she trusts. That same energy, when carried into womanhood, becomes irresistible, not because it tries to be, but because it radiates from a place of wholeness. Carl Jung understood that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This is exactly why old relationship patterns keep repeating. If the wounded inner girl still believes she has to earn love through over-giving, or if she fears abandonment so much that she tolerates disrespect, you will keep meeting the same dynamics in different faces. But once you see it, once you recognize that these are not random experiences, but mirrors of what still needs healing, you stop feeling like a powerless victim of love. You begin to rewrite your story from within. Healing your inner girl also means reparenting her, becoming the safe, loving, and consistent presence she always needed. You speak to yourself with kindness instead of criticism. You validate your feelings instead of shaming them. You give yourself permission to rest, to dream, to take up space, to say no without guilt. This is how you rewire your nervous system to trust that love does not require self-abandonment. And something else happens when you do this. Men feel it. The masculine, whether in a romantic partner or in the world at large, is drawn to the feminine that is both open and self-possessed. Not desperate, not guarded, but deeply secure. A woman who has healed her inner girl doesn't need to chase attention, because her presence already commands it. She doesn't crumble when someone withdraws, because her worth isn't tied to their approval. She knows she is the source, not the seeker. There will be moments when the old wounds try to resurface, when you feel the urge to over-explain, to people-please, to settle. In those moments, your healed self must hold the hand of your inner girl and remind her, we are safe now. We choose differently now. This is the integration Carl Jung spoke about, the merging of past and present, the uniting of shadow and light, so you are no longer fragmented but whole. And when you live from that wholeness, your feminine essence flows effortlessly. Your laugh is freer. Your eyes shine brighter. You speak from truth, not fear. You attract not just romantic love, but friendships, opportunities, and experiences that match your self-respect. You become magnetic without even trying, because the world can feel when a woman is truly at home within herself. When you continue walking this path, you begin to notice something remarkable. You stop performing for love. You stop putting on a version of yourself that you think will be accepted, and instead, you start showing up as you are. This is one of the most powerful signs that your inner girl is healing. In the past, maybe you were careful with your words, constantly measuring how much of yourself you could reveal without being judged. You might have hidden your dreams because someone once mocked them, or you might have silenced your needs because you were taught they were too much. But now, slowly, you begin to speak with more honesty. You start to say, "This is what I feel," without apologizing for it. You start to say, "This is what I want," without feeling guilty for desiring more. A healed inner girl doesn't need to convince anyone of her worth. She knows it deep in her bones. This changes everything about the way you move in the world. Your posture shifts. You look people in the eye. You speak more slowly because you are no longer rushing to be heard before someone interrupts you. You stop over explaining yourself because you no longer feel the need to prove you're good enough to take up space. Carl Jung understood that the feminine is not just a set of traits. It's an energy, a state of being. And when you carry unhealed wounds, that energy becomes blocked. It's like a river that's been dammed. The water is still there, but it can't flow. Healing the inner girl is like removing the debris from that river. Suddenly, your essence can move freely again. You feel more connected to your body. You trust your intuition more. You let your emotions be what they are without fearing they will make you weak. One of the most liberating parts of this journey is realizing that the love you were always searching for outside yourself is actually the love you give to your own soul. When you give your inner girl the safety to express herself, she rewards you with more creativity, more softness, and more vitality than you ever thought possible. And here's the truth: people can feel it. They may not know how to explain it, but they notice that being around you feels different. It feels warm, alive, and magnetic. That is your feminine essence shining through. Not because you chased it, but because you removed the walls that were hiding it. But let's be honest, this is not a quick process. You will have days when you fall back into old patterns. You might catch yourself wanting to give to someone who hasn't earned your trust, or holding back your truth because you fear rejection. That's okay. Healing is not about never slipping. It's about noticing when you do and choosing differently, even if it's uncomfortable. You become the loving, wise guardian of your inner girl, reminding her that the world no longer has the power to break her the way it once did. And this is where feminine power is often misunderstood. True feminine power is not about control. It's not about manipulating someone into loving you or proving you're worthy. True feminine power is about presence, being so deeply anchored in who you are that you don't have to perform, chase, or force anything. You trust that what is meant for you will recognize you without you exhausting yourself to be seen. As Jung would say, when you integrate the parts of yourself you once rejected, you step into wholeness. And wholeness has a frequency, an energy that draws to it exactly what aligns. This is why healed women attract different kinds of relationships, opportunities, and experiences. The world meets you at the level you meet yourself. You will notice that certain people from your past may no longer fit in your life. This isn't because you've become arrogant or distant. It's because your energy no longer matches theirs. And while it may hurt to let them go, this is part of honoring your inner girl. You are telling her, we don't settle for crumbs anymore. We wait for the feast we deserve. That is how she learns to trust you. That is how she blooms. And when she blooms, you will feel it in every area of your life. You will wake up with more peace in your heart. You will feel a quiet confidence in your steps. You will no longer be pulled into chaos just to feel important. You will choose love that feels like home, not love that feels like a test. And that, more than anything, is what allows your feminine essence to radiate, because it is not being drained by survival mode anymore. When your inner girl feels safe, something subtle yet profound begins to shift inside you. You stop moving through the world with that invisible tension in your body, the kind that's always bracing for rejection, abandonment, or judgment. Instead, you start to breathe deeper. Your shoulders relax, your voice steadies. There's a softness in your presence, but also an unmistakable strength. It is the strength of someone who no longer negotiates their worth. You will notice that you stop reacting to life from a place of fear. Fear used to whisper, "What if they don't like me? What if they leave? What if I'm not enough?" And without realizing it, you shaped your entire identity to avoid those fears. But now, with your inner girl healed and held, you begin to ask different questions. Do I like them? Do they make me feel safe? Does this relationship honor me? And those questions change everything, because they put you back in the position of choice. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are the one who chooses. Carl Jung believed that the parts of ourselves we ignore don't disappear. They hide in the shadows of our psyche, influencing us in ways we can't see. Your wounded inner girl may have been hiding there for years, guiding your relationships, your boundaries, even your dreams. She might have made you shrink so you wouldn't be noticed by those who could hurt you. Or she might have made you over, give so no one would ever abandon you. But now, instead of letting her drive from the shadows, you invite her into the light. You let her sit beside you, not in control, but seen and understood. This is where your feminine essence truly starts to bloom. Feminine energy is not about appearance. It's about the emotional and spiritual atmosphere you carry. It's the way your energy feels to those around you. And when you have healed the fear, shame, and self-doubt that once clouded your spirit, you radiate something rare: authenticity. People may not know why, but they'll feel safer in your presence. They'll feel drawn to your energy, not because you're trying to impress them, but because you've created safety within yourself, and that safety is magnetic. Healing your inner girl also changes how you love. You no longer confuse intensity with intimacy. You stop mistaking emotional chaos for passion. You recognize that love should not feel like you are constantly proving yourself or passing a test. You start to value peace over drama, truth over fantasy, respect over temporary thrills. And because you now value yourself, you draw people who value you too. There will be times when you are tested. Someone from your past might return, offering you the same half love you once accepted. Or you may meet someone new who reminds you of the dynamics you've worked so hard to heal. In those moments, your inner girl might feel the old pull, the familiar craving. But now, you have the power to pause. You can place your hand on your heart and say, "No, we don't go back there. We are safe now. We choose love that feels like love." That moment, choosing differently, is the proof that the healing is real. And this healing doesn't just affect romance. It seeps into every corner of your life. You set clearer boundaries at work. You speak up in conversations where you once stayed silent. You take more risks in your creativity because you no longer fear failure the way you used to. You start to live with more curiosity, more joy, more trust. Life becomes less about surviving and more about experiencing. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Healing your inner girl is exactly that. making the unconscious conscious. It's choosing to look at the places in you that were once too painful to see and loving them back into wholeness. It's breaking the invisible patterns that kept you trapped in cycles of pain. And it's reclaiming your birthright to be a woman who is both soft and unshakable, open yet self-respecting, radiant without needing to beg for attention. Over time, you will realize that your feminine essence is not something you have to search for. It was never gone. It was just hidden behind the survival strategies your inner girl built to keep you safe. When you heal her, those strategies melt away, and what's left is the most natural thing in the world, your true self. And that self, she is magnetic. She is whole. She is free. And when you live as her, you don't just change your relationships, you change your life. You stop being the woman who waits for permission to shine, and you become the woman who radiates light simply because she exists. You stop chasing love because you've finally realized you are love. And when you reach this stage of healing, something inside you settles for the first time in years. It's not the rush of excitement that comes from being noticed, nor the temporary high of someone's approval. It's a quiet, deep knowing, a knowing that you are whole whether someone chooses you or not, whether they see your value or overlook it, whether they stay or they go. This is the point where your feminine essence no longer feels like something you're trying to cultivate. It simply is. You don't think about how to be magnetic. You don't calculate how much softness to show or how much strength to hold back. You live in a natural rhythm with yourself, and in that rhythm, your energy becomes unforced yet powerful. People feel it before they even understand it. They see it in your eyes, hear it in your voice, sense it in the way you occupy space without apology. For so long, your wounded inner girl might have believed that love was something earned through performance. Maybe she thought she had to be perfect to be kept, agreeable to be liked, accommodating to be safe. Those beliefs were not her fault. They were the conclusions of a little girl trying to survive in a world that didn't always meet her needs. But survival mode is not the same as living. And now, with every act of self-respect, every boundary you set, every moment you honor your truth, you show her a new reality. That love can meet you without you bending yourself out of shape to receive it. Carl Jung taught that healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming who you truly are by reclaiming the parts you've abandoned. Your feminine essence was never lost. It was always there, waiting beneath the layers of self-doubt, fear, and emotional armor. When you peel away those layers, you reveal the woman who laughs freely, who creates without fear of judgment, who loves without abandoning herself. That woman is you. The beauty of this transformation is that it changes how you respond to life's storms. Challenges will still come. People will still disappoint you. There will still be endings, losses, and moments of uncertainty. But instead of falling apart, you now bend without breaking. You no longer see those moments as proof that you are unworthy, but as opportunities to protect your peace, choose yourself, and honor your growth. You become resilient in a way that is both grounded and graceful. Your inner girl, once silenced, now has a voice, and she uses it. She speaks up when something feels wrong. She laughs when something feels right. She dreams bigger because she no longer fears the disappointment of not getting what she wants. And because she now trusts that you will not abandon her for anyone or anything, she begins to shine brighter than ever before. This is when you notice your presence changing rooms without you trying. People may describe you as different, though they can't explain why. They might say you have a glow, or that being around you feels calming. That's not makeup, style, or charm. It's the frequency of self-love and inner safety radiating outward. It's the natural magnetism of a healed feminine essence. And here's something you must remember. Healing your inner girl is not just for you. It ripples outward. The way you love yourself teaches others how to love themselves. The boundaries you set give silent permission for others to set their own. Your refusal to accept less than you deserve shows others what self-worth looks like in action. You become a living example that it is possible to be both soft and powerful, open-hearted and protected, deeply loving yet unwilling to settle. Some people from your past may not understand this new version of you. They may try to pull you back into old dynamics. They may accuse you of changing, and they'll be right. You have changed. You have gone from the woman who questioned her value to the woman who embodies it. From the woman who sought love outside herself to the woman who knows she is love. And while not everyone will celebrate this transformation, those who are meant for you will recognize it instantly. This is why the foundation of your feminine essence is your healed inner girl. Because without that foundation, everything else you try to build, whether it's love, career, creativity, or connection, will always feel shaky. But when that foundation is strong, you can stand tall without fear of collapse. You can love without losing yourself. You can shine without dimming for anyone. And the most beautiful part, you will realize that you no longer chase the life you want. You attract it. Not because you're lucky, but because your energy finally matches the truth you've always deserved. That you are worthy, whole, and deeply enough, just as you are.